everybody. This is Rogers Harrison once again joining you for another episode of the Sports Deep Dive Podcast. Here in the Sports Deep Dive Podcast, we take a look at sporting figures, conferences, leagues, media, commissioners, whatever, you name it. And we magnify that lens a bit and take a look at an aspect of their career or life. Today, since we just had when this is being recorded, we just had a U.S. election for president. We're going to take a look at presidents and sports in the world of sports. Let's begin about that. Now, let's first start with Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln, excuse me. Now, Carl Sandburg wrote a book, Abraham Lincoln: The Prairie Years, Volume 1. And in that book, he recounts this little story. In the early 1830s, a saloon keeper bet the owner of a general store where Abraham Lincoln worked, he bet them $10 that Lincoln couldn't beat Jack Armstrong, a champion of a nearby town. The match was arranged. People came from miles around to the town square near the store where they bet money, they bet tobacco, they bet drinks, and the other items of value to those people at the time. The two men grappled. The short, muscular Armstrong tried to get in close and overpower Lincoln, but Abraham Lincoln, who despite his wiry build was renowned for his strength, held him off with his long arms. Now, eventually, Lincoln threw Armstrong and pinned his shoulders to the ground. Armstrong's friends, angry at the defeat, confronted Lincoln, who told them he would fight, wrestle, or run a race against any of them. Armstrong then diffused the tension by shaking Lincoln's hand and declaring him the winner fair and square. So Abraham Lincoln was a wrestler. Theodore Roosevelt was a boxer. That was his little sporting event. He liked to go in the ring and bout a few. Franklin D. Roosevelt was a second-string football player in prep school. He did the crew at Harvard University, and he used to swim to gain strength due to his polio. That by swimming helped him strengthen his arms and his legs that were weakened by polio. Dwight Eisenhower played football at West Point. John F. Kennedy played left end and tackle in prep school. He swam at Harvard and then, played golf leisurely. So he was not, didn't do any professional sports, just played golf leisurely. Richard Milhouse Nixon was a bench warmer for football in college, but he was an avid bowler leisurely. And I believe he put the bowling alley, into the White House, where he would bowl for relaxation. Gerald Ford. Gerald Ford played football at Michigan. Now, he turned down offers to play for the Packers and the Lions. Leisurely, he swam every day and played tennis and golf, so he was a very active sportsman. Jimmy Carter played high school tennis. He did basketball in high school and track and field. As he did a pole vaulter. He was a pole vaulter in track and field. And leisurely, he enjoyed outdoor sports. He enjoyed a little hunting, a little fishing, and that type of thing. George Herbert Walker Bush played baseball. In fact, he played first base for the Yale squad. Okay, George W. Bush, like his father, played baseball at Yale, but wasn't very good at it. Now, he made the freshman squad as a relief pitcher, but he only got into 3 games, and then he stuck to intramural sports for the rest of his college career. He he did take up running to get back in shape. He finished the Houston Marathon in 1993 with a 8 minute and 30-second mile pace. As president, he did a 3 mile race, and he was considered not to be a jogger, but did an actual was an actual runner to, like I said, staying straight. As president, he took up mountain biking, and after he left office in 2009, he began hosting the Warrior 100K, which is a mountain bike event um, in which service members who had been wounded in actions were invited to join him at his ranch in Texas. Now, Barack Obama, the 44th president, developed a passion for basketball while he was an adolescent in Hawaii. He would play pickup games every day in an outdoor court at his school. And he was good enough to make his high school state championship team in 1979. He was considered a left-handed small forward, um, but he became more famous for, as president, he would play pickup games and against some of his aides, like Reggie Love, who played at Duke, and Secretary of Education Arnie Duncan, who played at Harvard. Um, all right. According to NCAA.org, President Joe Biden, our 46th um, president, played football at Delaware in 1961. He was on a freshman team at Delaware, but according to him, in his memoir, he wrote that when my first semester grades came out, my mom and dad told me I wouldn't be playing spring football. So he didn't have the grades, and his parents said no. So he then spent a few years focusing on his grades, and then when he was a junior, he wanted to try again to get up on that football team. Um, but then uh, he met Neela Hunter while he was on vacation in Florida. Hunter lived in Syracuse, and Biden was in Delaware, playing at Delaware, and so he had to choose between football and focusing on her. He focused on her, and and that became his first wife, Neil Hunter. Now Donald Trump, our 45th, and will be the 47th president of the United States. Played squash and tennis at Fordham, and he did this from 65 to 66. Um, and but he did that, and then he only played 2 seasons of squash and one playing tennis. He then transferred to Penn uh, to finish his degree in economics. Now, that is some of the athletes who have been president, but also played sports. A little snapshot for you. The White House has always been involved in sports, from presidents throwing out the first pitch, uh, at baseball games, Major League Baseball games, mostly the Washington teams when the Washington Senators were around. But that period between the last Washington Senators team and the Washington Nationals in 2005, presidents would go to other cities and throw out the first pitch, some from their home town or state, um, some being asked by other teams to throw out first pitches. Um, in fact, according to the White House archive, um, President Grover Cleveland was a big baseball fan, but believed if he watched games, meaning if he attended games, people would suppose he was wasting his time and not attending to the duties of being the president. So that's an interesting take about the president. Presidents have also hosted NCAA champions. When they win, they've also hosted professional uh, champions. When they win, um, they will not host if National Hockey League if a Canadian team wins. Only the U.S. teams, and the same for Major League Soccer. So there has been a rich tradition of baseball in the White House. Um, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt famous speech about baseball must go on even during war times to give people something to cheer for and something um, to cheer for and be part of, type of thing. So I just wanted to today's episode take a look into a deep dive um, of presidents and sports. Uh, this concludes this episode. This is episode number 8 of the Sports Deep Dive. We are going to take a little break. So this is our mid-season finale, so to speak. We will be back in January of 2025 with more sports deep dive. Some of the topics we will look at, we'll look at media and sports. And we will look at maybe the NCAA basketball tournament and about how, as well as conference tournaments, basketball conference tournaments. We'll take a look at that history and take a deep dive. I appreciate all the subscribers and all the people that have listened to our 8 episodes. We appreciate it. I want to thank also my occasional co-host, Brian Koparik, for his contributions as well. So have some great holidays, and we will be back with you with another sports deep dive episode in January of 2025. So long, everybody.